We want to get to a developing story right now. Tonight, we are hearing from a woman who says she watched a mother try to run away from her boyfriend's gunfire.
34-year-old Nicholas Finley now is charged with capital murder after detectives say he robbed and killed his 29-year-old girlfriend, Merseana Struggs. It happened at a park.
The streets of Houston, Texas were no stranger to tragedy, but the horror that unfolded on July 19th, 2024 was something that left an entire community shaken. A young mother, Merseana Struggs, was running for her life, desperately trying to escape the man who had once professed to love her. But love had long turned into control, and control had now turned into murder. As she sprinted through her apartment complex for safety, her boyfriend, Nicholas Finley, chased her down, pistol in hand. She attempted to hide in a neighbor's car, but it was too late. She collapsed, giving Finley just enough time to catch up to her. What he did next as he stood menacingly over the young mother was so devastating, the whole community could not recover from the shock for months. And as if the cruelty of that day wasn't enough, Finley took off with her purse and car, leaving behind only grief, shock, and a blood-stained pavement. Merseana Struggs was just 29 years old, a young woman who had her whole life ahead of her. Originally from Marrero, Louisiana, she had moved to Houston, Texas, in search of a better future. She attended Higgins High School, and although life had not always been easy for her, she was determined to provide for herself and her child.
The neighbor tells me she did not know Merseana Struggs for very long, but she says she was beautiful and kind.
Being a mother meant everything to Merseana. She worked hard to make a living, determined to give her child the best life possible. At some point, she turned to OnlyFans, an online content subscription platform, as a means of income. Charging $35 a month for exclusive content, she remained strictly business, never engaging in personal meetups, despite the requests she received. Her focus was on securing financial stability, not risking her safety. She was active with her subscribers, frequently posting and interacting with them to maximize her earnings. It was during this time that she met Nicholas Finley, a 34-year-old man who would soon become the nightmare that ended her life. Their relationship started like many others, filled with charm, excitement, and the illusion of love. But beneath the surface, Finley was deeply insecure and possessive. His insecurity was only magnified by Merseana's success on OnlyFans. Over time, he began demanding a share of the money she made, claiming that because she spent time at his place, he was entitled to part of her earnings. At first, she tried to ignore his demands, brushing off his jealousy and control issues. But the more she resisted, the more controlling and abusive he became. He wanted to dictate what she posted online and who she interacted with, suffocating her independence. Their arguments became frequent and explosive. Merseana soon realized that this relationship was not just unhealthy, it was dangerous. By July 2024, she had made a final decision. She was leaving him for good. She had no intention of giving him her hard-earned money or letting him dictate her life. But leaving an abusive partner is often the most dangerous moment for a victim, and Merseana was about to pay the ultimate price for her decision. On July 19th, 2024, the tension between them reached a breaking point. They argued about her leaving, and in a fit of rage and desperation, Finley struck her hard and threatened to kill her. At that moment, Merseana knew she had to escape. She bolted out of the apartment, running as fast as she could, screaming for help. Finley wasn't far behind. With his gun drawn, he chased her through the apartment complex. She tried to hide in a neighbor's car, but she collapsed before she could get inside. It was over. Finley stood over her, aimed his gun, and fired. He shot her multiple times, reloading until his clip was empty. He showed no mercy, no hesitation. When the gunfire stopped, Merseana lay dead, her body riddled with bullets. As her lifeless body lay on the ground, Finley took her purse and car before fleeing the scene. The crime was as senseless as it was brutal. A mother, a daughter, a friend, stolen from the world in an instant. And all for what? A man's fragile ego and his obsession with control. As law enforcement began their manhunt for Finley, Merseana's community mourned the loss of a woman who had fought so hard for her independence, only to have it stolen away in a hail of bullets. Neighbors who had witnessed the horrific murder were left in shock. One woman, Shawnee Drury, a neighbor of Merseana, witnessed the horrifying events leading to her death. Earlier that day, Finley had been pulled over while driving Merseana's car and asked her to bring him the insurance card.
She says the moment she heard gunshots, she feared for her friend's life.
Drury's roommate accompanied Merseana to meet Finley, but upon returning to the apartment complex, they found him already there, sitting in her car. Confrontation ensued between Merseana and Finley. Drury recounted, she jumped out and had a confrontation with him, and he shot her a couple times.
Bullet holes are found on Shawnee Drury's front door.
It's right here. They're all of them are right here.
Her doorstop is where Merseana Struggs was shot and killed while trying to run from her boyfriend, Nicholas Finley. Drury recalls how it unfolded.
He said he got pulled over and he needed her to bring the insurance card. And so my roommate took her to go down there and he wasn't there. So when they came back, he was sitting right here in her car. And she jumped out and had a confrontation with him. And he shot her a couple times. My boyfriend pushed me back in the house, and we just went in the bathroom, and I just had my hands over my head, and it was so loud. I thought he was coming in the house because he kept saying he was going to kill everybody in the house. He was going to kill us for helping her.
Shawnee Drury recalled the terrifying moment, describing how Merseana had fought desperately to escape. She had made it into Drury's truck, but Finley shot her 4 or 5 more times there. Even after she had collapsed, he continued shooting. 8 more times until she stopped moving. Drury and other neighbors hid inside their homes, terrified that they would be next. Finley, still full of rage, screamed that he would kill everyone who had tried to help her. Fearing for her own safety, Drury hid in her bathroom as the situation escalated. He described the terrifying moments. I just had my hands over my head, and it was so loud. I thought he was coming into the house because he kept saying he was going to kill everybody in the house. He was going to kill us for helping her. Despite being shot multiple times, Merseana fought to escape. Drury observed, she made it into my truck, I guess, and he shot her 4 or 5 more times over there, and then she managed to make it over here at that point, and he shot her like 8 more times.
She made it into my truck, I guess, and he shot her 4 or 5 more times over there, and then she managed to make it over here at that point, and he shot her like 8 more times. It was just so senseless, so senseless.
Following the incident, Finley fled the scene, taking Merseana's car and purse. He was later apprehended and charged with capital murder, which is among the most severe charges in the legal system, often leading to life imprisonment or the death penalty. As of now, specific details regarding Finley's court dates and sentencing have not been publicly disclosed. The legal process in such cases is typically extensive, involving multiple hearings and evaluations to ensure a fair trial. The community has been deeply affected by Merseana's tragic death. Neighbors and friends remember her as a beautiful, kind, and loving mother. In the wake of this tragedy, Merseana's sister, Merseana Struggs, initiated a GoFundMe campaign to raise funds for Merseana's funeral expenses and to support her surviving 8-year-old son. The outpouring of support from the community has been heartening, with numerous individuals contributing to honor Merseana's memory and provide for her child. The fundraiser details Merseana's recent move to Houston, Texas, in pursuit of a better life for herself and her child. Kimani describes her sister as a loving mother, daughter, and sister who was loyal and kind and beautiful. The campaign has garnered significant support, with 164 donations totaling $8,214 to date. Contributors have expressed their condolences and shared messages of solidarity, reflecting the community's collective mourning and desire to assist the grieving family. This incident has sparked broader discussions about domestic violence and the importance of early intervention. Sheriff Ed Gonzalez highlighted the alarming frequency of intimate partner homicides in the area, noting that they constitute approximately 35% of all murders in Harris County. Emphasized the critical need for awareness and proactive measures, stating, "Love must not hurt. It's important to know the signs of abuse and do something about violence against women." The Houston Area Women's Center, HOJWC, has also noted an increase in calls related to domestic violence. Hanika Brown, HAWC's Chief Program Officer, explained that leaving an abuser can be the most dangerous time for a victim. They emphasized the importance of safety planning and awareness, noting that if an abuser has access to a gun, the risk of lethality increases by 500%. The tragic death of Merseana Struggs is an ugly and sad end, warning about the dangers of domestic violence. It indicates the importance of community awareness, support systems, and proactive measures to prevent such tragedies in the future. As the community mourns her loss, there is a collective hope that increased awareness and intervention can help protect others from similar fates.